Right, when you explode a text, it will be exploded, but AutoCAD will divide that into several groups. You can see here, I'll zoom in. If I hover over this, this is one group, this is another group, and this is a third group. So we don't have any control on how AutoCAD explodes and divides his text. So, but it does divide it into um, make it one piece. We first need to explode each piece. So we're going to type in explode here in the command prompt, explode, press enter. And then we're simply going to select, I'm going to make a box covering the whole thing. And that will explode everything once I press enter. Okay. Once you press enter now, you can simply now erase the parts that you don't need. So I can simply select and then press delete on my keyboard, or you can use the erase command over here on top. So that's the erase command, or um, on your keyboard, you will type in erase, press enter, and then you will simply select, okay, and then press enter to erase the items. Now we know that we can put all of these exploded text or objects because we have a lot here. If I simply select this, okay, um, I can copy or move them as a group, but I have to select all of them inside a box like that because they are individual. So if my box covers only this one, those are the only objects that's going to be grouped together or selected. So you can use the group command, so group, press enter, and then select everything that you want to belong to each other. Okay, so once you press enter, this is now a group. So when you click one, everything will be grouped together. Okay, so a group command does not create a block, it just puts together objects as one piece. And if you want to separate these pieces, the explode command, which we typically use to separate things, will not work. And you can see here, 137 were not able to be exploded, okay? Because this is not a block, it is a group. And so to separate the group, you cannot use the explode command, but you can separate the objects using the ungroup command. So there is two processes to make a group. One is um, using a block, and the other one is making it a group. But the group command will only group objects together, and you cannot explode it. So if you want to ungroup, you have to type in the ungroup command, select the objects, you don't need to press enter. Then each object will now be separate again. Okay, so the letter I is also a block or a group. Letter K is now separated. And this one is not really a group, it's like a block, so we can explode this. So I can select the objects I want to explode before I type explode, and then it should now be exploded. Now, if I wanted to group them, the command is group, and I can select this one as one group. Okay, press enter. And I want to make this I again another group, so I'm going to type in group, and then select the letter I. Make sure that all I've selected belongs to letter I only. Okay, so this is one group, and that is another group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move each letter a little bit apart, and I'm going to move and arrange them because I wanted to rotate this letter I first a little bit. Simply select here, and I want to be away from the letter, and I'm going to just simply rotate that by a little bit, and then I'm going to move again and put that and overlap them. So once you overlap them, you have two groups that's overlapping. You can trim the portions that overlaps, just like we did on one of our very first exercises. So we're going to trim, so TRIM, press enter, and I'm going to zoom in and then just trim the object where they're supposed to be cut. Okay, there you go. Now these objects over here, they still belong to each other, even though they're separated. So this letter I will still grab these separated items. And on this letter K, if I hover, it will still highlight this piece, even though they're separated. You can see they're separated over here. But they will select that because it belongs to the group. And I cannot erase this piece because if I erase this piece, the whole letter K will be selected. Okay. So to remove all of them, we cannot erase, but we can actually trim parts of the group that we want to be erased. So I can trim that for letter K, and I can trim this for the letter I. All right. So now we have two groups together. Press enter to stop. Letter I and letter K, and they overlap. I rotated them a little bit because I'm going to move the letter N next besides the letter I. Let me now complete and move about the letter N and D. So I'm going to first explode all of them. And then I'm going to erase the parts that I don't need. Okay, parts that I don't need. You need to zoom into some letters. They would have these extra parts that needs to be erased. Over here also. Okay, you can erase them. There you go. And then simply make it a group first. Each letter must be grouped. Okay, and then I can move them. And again, you don't want to overlap them in two places. You only overlap them one place. This letter D now has to be rotated, so I'm going to rotate that. Okay, it's not grouped yet, so I'm going to group first. Select, press enter, and I'm going to rotate this letter D, select from the center, go away from the object, and just start rotating however which way I want to rotate. So I'm going to choose to rotate this way, and then I'm going to move that closer here. Now it's only overlapping this portion. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to type in TRIM for trim. And I'm going to start trimming the pieces that overlap. And I'm going to continue trimming so that I can trim this whole piece that belongs to each group. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to trim the portions that overlap. And I'm going to continue trimming to erase the parts that belongs to the group. Okay. So there you go. So this we now have four groups: K, I, N, D. Right? Now, if you wanted to group this together, you must first ungroup. So ungroup, and I'm going to ungroup all of these, one ungroup at a time. So what I'm doing is I am just pressing enter. Okay, pressing enter after one command will repeat the same command. So I just ungroup each one. So now there's all separated. And I want to make this one piece. So I'm going to group again. This time I want to group this whole thing as one group. Just enter. Now they're one group. Right, so now I'm finished with this word. I trimmed them, I grouped them, I exploded text to begin with. The name of this drawing is Kind, D-double-G. And what I wanted to do is every day that I work on something or make something substantially different, I will have to save again, but this time I wanted to save it to a different file. So I'm going to click this icon here and then do another save as. And I wanted to save either in my documents or in my Google Drive if you have a Google Drive. When you click on this one and you see a Google Drive here, then you can save inside your Google Drive like I see here. So I can go to my Google Drive, my drive, and I can go to my engineering folder, and then I can type in kind, and then I want to put in like letter number 2. So that kind 2 means that's the second iteration of my changes, and then click save. Now you can find that in your Google Drive now. It's now saved and you're now ready to begin the next part of this activity.